Will the market go up or down? Should you lock in or float? Find out this and more with Master of the Markets, hosted by Barry Habib of MBS Highway. Brought to you by Paramount Residential Mortgage Group.
In today's mortgage environment, providing our wholesale community with the best combination of product, pricing, technology, and service is paramount to their success. PRMG, built by originators for originators.
Welcome to another edition of Master of the Markets. I'm Barry Habib, and MBS Highway is created exclusively for Mortgage News Network and brought to you by our friends at PRMG, working for your best interest. A lot of housing data this week to look forward to. It's always interesting. You know the media will twist and turn it, but we'll break it down for you and we'll tell you what goes on. Listen, we want to make sure that we get the real story out there because the housing market is very healthy. Demographics look good. People just starting to catch on. What we've been talking to you about is that when you take a look at about 33 years or so ago, birth rates rising. That's a lot of new first-time home buyers that will be coming into the market over the next several years. So that's something to watch as time goes on. We feel that there's going to continuously be more demand than supply, and that has been a recipe for good support for prices. Now let's also understand that what that means is that there could be a shift in the median home price. Median home price is different than price appreciation. Price appreciation is the value of a home going up, but median home price simply means that half of the homes sell above that home value, half the homes sell below it. So as more first-time home buyers come into the marketplace, they tend to buy homes on the lower end of the scale. When that happens, you could have home prices going up with a significant amount of appreciation, but the median home price could shift to a lower level because more homes are being purchased on the lower end of the spectrum due to the demographics of it all. Doesn't mean home prices are going down. It just means there's more homes being bought there, and that's a distinction that the media just doesn't get, and we have to understand that concept. Now, let's take a look back at what we got this week. Jerome Powell spoke, essentially saying that the Fed is now on hold with rates. Hey, but let's remember, look, the Fed is quietly purchasing $65 billion a month in quantitative easing. If you look at their balance sheet, it has skyrocketed back above $4 trillion. I mean, this is just an incredible amount of buying that they're doing, but this time they're buying just treasury bills that they're buying. So shorter end of the curve in an effort to steepen the curve, kind of make it look like there's not an inverted yield curve. They've been successful, but this is not treating the problem, this is treating the symptom. If somebody comes in and they're sneezing and coughing all over the place, if they take a cold pill, at least they're not coughing all over you and sneezing on you, but they still are contagious. They still have a cold, and that's what we see here. Yes, the yield curve is steepened, but there are still some issues. To that point, the big news from last week was the Cass Freight Index people came out with their report. They come out with this every month, and you've heard me mention this several times. It's an important report because what this does is it shows shipments. And you know, these people at Cass Freight are so good at this, and they say, look, we know there's a lot of crazy, intricate models that are out there, but we simply believe that the shipment of tangible goods around the country is a good indicator of the health and heartbeat of the economy. And you know what? They're right. The package that you got delivered to you, the reason why you did it because you ordered something, and if there's orders that are slowing down, it's an indication that the economy is slowing down. So they really went in depth and said that they believe that there's a good chance that GDP would print negatively in this fourth quarter. In fact, when they went deep on the reasons why you saw the GDP numbers from quarter number one, quarter number two, and quarter number three at the levels they were, and by the way, all declining, 3.1%, a little over 2% to, below 2%, and who knows what the fourth quarter will be. I mean, the New York and Atlanta Feds forecasting, around 1% or even lower, 0.8% for the fourth quarter. They think the number could be negative because they have a leading indicator. They've shown a big decline in shipments, and they think that this leading indicator takes time to catch up, but when it does, it is a very reliable source that we do see negative numbers on GDP. 2 quarters in a row of GDP being negative, and that would mean recession. Now, when they go back and they looked at the earlier numbers, even at 3.1%, they said it really should have been 1.8 because most of that was building of inventory. The second quarter, a lot of financial stimulus. So left on its own, the numbers for GDP, they say, should have been like 1.8 instead of 3.1, and then just above 1% for the last 2 quarters. Pretty interesting from some very smart folks over at Cass Freight. It'll be interesting to see how the 10-year Treasury behaves this week. Watch 1.78%. That's a really good indicator of where we are. We're slightly above that now. It'll take maybe a little bit of a downward move in the stock market at elevated levels. We're hitting all-time highs, but it is due for a pullback. When we get that pullback, you'll see the money go into the bond market. 10-year breaks under 178, 177. You'll start to see some momentum build there, and we'll get some better rates. That's your key indicator this week. But an even better indicator would be to be on MBS Highway, because we've been navigating beautifully through these waters and helping you lock and float your clients. But that's just a tiny fraction of what we can do for you and your business by really making you an advisor. Things are changing out there right before your eyes. Don't be blind to it. Don't make that mistake. See all these fintech companies being popped up with all kinds of venture capital. See what's happening in the competitive arena. What happens if refinances slow down? Hey, team, this is important for you to watch for your future right now. Get on MBS Highway, be that advisor. Talk to you next week.
PRMG continues to provide our wholesale partners across the nation with better technology, better product, better pricing, and better service. Our nationally recognized brand is more than just an image. It is a symbol of integrity. PRMG, built by originators for originators. Be sure to click on the link below for your free 30-day MBS Highway trial.
This is Mortgage News Network.